Dr. Erick Jones. I am the Associate Dean of Graduate Affairs in the College of Engineering. Also, I'm the George and Elizabeth Pickett Endowed Professor in Industrial Engineering here at UT Arlington. Well, my journey is a little non-traditional. After graduating from another college in Texas in '93, I went to work for UPS. And working at UPS, I realized that to move up the management track in engineering, you needed an additional degree. And when I looked around at the different schools in the state of Texas, the University of Houston was really one that I thought was phenomenal. In fact, it had networking and also a lot of business executives like myself. I chose industrial engineering because I thought that it had the great potential to bridge business and engineering. And in my master's program, University of Houston really started giving me that eye that, okay, what does research look like? What does innovation look like for the future? And so it gave me that taste that I would come back for that doctorate. University of Houston, one of the fastest growing institutions in the world as far as innovation and research, was moving in that trajectory. And so I was exposed to some very exciting research areas that allowed me to be very successful and later on to lead global centers, public-private partnerships and centers, and also even to do the things I did nationally, federally, and actually state level. Coming from industry, combining it with the doctorate of innovation, I've pioneered a special type of lab where we have the theory and application, the latest theories as far as radio frequency, inventory control theory, and actually what some we call supply chain optimization, but applying that in the real world. I make sure that we combine the theory with the physical. So, supply chain, what we call last mile, has become complex. We looked at, that different populations were not being tested, others were not interested in getting the vaccine. When the different offices globally quit giving out visas, and we no longer could have a global supply chain, having the understanding of the theory of supply chain, understanding of how we create and manufacture at home, how we create certain products, even locally, even Houston, Texas, and within the state became so important when it came to such things as hand sanitizer, mask. How do we revolutionize and through the knowledge of supply chain and how do we get it to certain populations? This is something that we had to become smarter at, and to be quite frank, it highlighted a lot of the research activities I've been doing for decades. Well, this is an exciting time. We have several social and societal impacts right now. We have the different movements going on as far as racial injustice. We have movements going on about pandemics. And then also we have the real questioning of what will knowledge make my life better? As a US-born African-American, living through the K-12 system and the education system in the United States, there's a lot of shortcomings. And there have been some, I would call it horrific failures over the last, since I've been alive. But what I can say is that, there have been good people at different steps of my career that helped me to overcome those divides. I hope as a leader that I look for those same things. What can we do to actually make it better? There's a lot of healing that needs to happen, but I also think there's a lot of action that can happen. Engineering is the hardest discipline you can have, I believe, at the university. And that always going to need people that are thinkers, people that can solve problems, people that can really take whatever's happening in society and make it a better place. No matter what the societal unrest is, whether it's coming from nature or is it coming from nurture. This honor means quite a bit to me, but I also hope it means a lot to my students. I've received quite a few awards, but when I have the chance to talk about my great students and about how my story is, I would call it non-traditional, but really looking at how I did these things. And I guess I hope I did it with a smile and had a lot of fun. And when I think about a lot of our students today, there's a part of seriousness and foreboding that worries me. That because if without that, hey, this is creative, this is exciting, this is innovative. Without that, I call it, that special spirit of I want to find out something that I didn't know before. We get lost into these, social media, social genres of, have more money, have more wealth, get what the next guy had. I didn't get something somebody else did get. But when you really look at the spirit of engineering, problem solving, and the curiosity of the world. When I was a kid, they were like, space was great. I was like, well, space is easy. Right now we have billionaires going into space monthly, right? And so the idea that, a generation of taking something that we thought was impossible and now making it mainstream, I think that the next generation has something that we think is impossible, like maybe living longer or having bionic arms, all these different things that we think are impossible today. And we need more curious people with a little bit more positive spirit that can kind of look at some of the world's problems and say, hey, that's an interesting problem, it's a little challenging, but if we put enough manpower, enough brain power, and leverage enough of art intelligence that we've had a history over, we can solve these problems. I think that we're gonna have more engineers, we're gonna have more optimistic people, and we're gonna have a greater world.